I made my appointment, I took it into Apple, I told them the battery's dead and I'd like it to be replaced. They plugged it into their dingly-what's-it to do a diagnostic on it, and then they said that because it won't turn on, they can't check the battery health, so they won't do a battery replacement. If your iPhone battery is dead, they can't check if the battery's dead because it won't turn on. I just bought this iPhone 13 Pro Max from a friend of mine. I know its history. It was working perfectly until it was replaced by the next model, and then it sat in a cupboard for ages and now it won't turn on. The battery has drained so far down that the phone won't even attempt to charge it. I'm guessing it's a safety precaution because when a lithium battery goes completely flat, it can damage the battery, and charging a damaged lithium battery can end in disastrous consequences. But it's still annoying because I have an iPhone 4 which has been in a cupboard for way longer than this guy, and it still charges up and has at least like 20 seconds of battery life. Even the buttons, they don't do anything anymore, and you have to plug it in to make the screen come on. But this thing, it starts to come on and then it just dies. It doesn't have enough power to start up. So I don't know why it's actually trying to start up. It's supposed to charge for 15 minutes and then try and start up, but this is where we're at. I knew that it was doing this before I bought it. I figured I'd pay the 150 bucks, I'd get Apple to change the battery, it'd be like a brand new phone, and we'd be good to go. But I was wrong. I was well prepared for them to change the battery, and if it doesn't work, so be it, I'd pay for the battery and I'd be on my way. They said no. The only way they would fix my phone is if they replaced the entire back frame with electronics. This is most of the guts of the phone, and they wanted nearly $900 to do it. Seeing as how the used price for these things is about $800, that is a terrible deal. Now, those of you who know me are probably wondering why I didn't just fix this thing myself in the first place. Well, the reason is, these phones are actually waterproof and they have a seal around the front of the glass, which is very hard to get apart, and I didn't want to be the one responsible for making it waterproof again at the end. However, since Apple gave their outrageous price of $878.90, I'm going to see how cheaply I can fix this phone. The first step is going to be warming up the front to melt that adhesive. The second step is to struggle ridiculously trying to lift the end of the phone. The glass here is flush with the frame, and you have to get a pick under it. I will mention that if I break this screen, it's going to cost me probably $600. And this part is the entire reason why I wasn't working on this myself in the first place. Man, it sucks. There's nothing to grip hold of. You can get a clamp tool, which grabs both sides of the phone, you just twist the thing and it opens it, but it's 40 bucks. I would have to get it from overseas as well, and this is what I've got. It should be possible with this tool. Just very, very hard. And you know what makes it even harder? The fact that I haven't taken the screws out of the bottom. This might help just a little bit, probably. It's still really hard. Oh, yes. Heat is the key here. Heat and more heat. Except not too hot. Just hot enough that it's almost painful. Well, I did it. I didn't break it. And this is our stupid battery here that's gone too flat to use. You really do need a proper iPhone toolkit to get into one of these things. The screws are all weird. The first two I took out are pentalobe, which is pretty much Apple exclusive. These ones are tri-wing, which are not Apple exclusive, but still weird. And now we've got a Phillips screw just for fun. You always need to lay your screws out in the orientations they came out of the thing in. Also, use plastic tools, even though I often don't use plastic tools. I decided to today, and you should too. That's that off. Now, the first thing I should have done once I got in here was disconnect the battery, but instead it's the last thing I've done. Now, what I want to try and do, and I'm not actually sure where they are, is find the battery contacts at the actual cell, not at this connector, which goes through some battery control stuff. I'm reasonably sure they're hidden down in here somewhere, but I also don't know what else is hidden down here, and I don't want to ruin anything. So this is fun. Aha! I can see them. The thing now is that I need to know the polarity of this if I want to try and recover this battery. You're not supposed to recover a flat lithium battery. I want to try anyway. So do we have any voltage in here whatsoever? 12 millivolts. That's 0.012 volts. That's pretty much zero. This is such a low voltage that I'm not even completely sure that I've got this the right way around. It could have gone slightly the wrong way somehow. I'm not really sure on lithium batteries that are this low. If I swap my probes around, it does say negative 12 millivolts instead of positive. So I guess maybe negative at the top and positive at the bottom. I guess we'll do that and see what happens. So these alligator clips have power coming from my benchtop power supply. I've set it to just under 4 volts with a limit of 1 amp. So here's hoping I don't die. Straight away you can see the multimeter's working its way up. This is actually the battery charging. The most important part of this process is the current setting on the power supply. If I just connected that to a normal voltage supply, it would just go through the roof with current and destroy this battery. If you want to understand how that works, look up something called Ohm's law. It'll teach you why having the current set at 1 amp means the voltage is lower. I'm just going to disconnect the power supply and see if the voltage drops off again. It will a little bit, but as long as it doesn't go to 0, it's going down fast. So it's not ideal. I don't know what the threshold is for this phone to actually pick up the battery and work. I can test if the charge cable is charging the phone though, so I'll do that. I think it is. That number's going up. I might have just fixed this for free. I'm no longer charging this with my power supply. This is all just the lightning connector plugged into the bottom. What's it gonna do? I will actually be happier if the Apple logo doesn't come up for ages, because it will wait until the battery's charged before booting if it knows the battery's low. So the fact that I've got nothing here is actually not a bad thing, hopefully. Oh, is it working? Oh, come on. Please? Ah. The battery's getting warm, but it hasn't blown up like a balloon yet. I do have another idea. Are you a screen holder upperer? Sort of. If I attach a power supply to this battery, then plug in the lightning so that the thing tries to turn on. Please try and turn on. So we're at 4.2. That's too many volts, but okay. There's a strange smell, which is probably nothing to do with cooking a lithium battery. Turn on, please. My idea is that if I sit here for really, really, really long times, eventually the phone will start to power up like it did before, but if the phone tries to pull a bunch of power from the battery and the battery can't handle it, my bench power supply will take over. However, I don't know if this battery is ever going to think that it's full if I've got my bench power supply on there. So maybe I'll just disconnect it, and if I see the Apple, I'll quickly attach the power supply. It's not plugged into charge. I do have it on my power supply. It's getting up to adjusting the brightness. Oh, I saw it just for a moment. Did you see that? Probably my power supply wiring is terrible and can't push enough current. Okay, well this battery's been charging for long enough that I think we can safely say the battery is no longer. So now it's time for some fun. Then we have these stretchy tab things which look really easy to get attached on the guide and is actually really hard. These tabs pull out and they take the battery adhesive with them. If they break, it makes things a lot harder. There's 3 of them and I've just struggled to get the first one undone. But it did work. Oh no. Oh no! Alright, well, okay. This isn't working at all. Do not pry the battery. Don't use metal tools on the battery. Don't do that either. Look at that, only major stab marks. I'm glad I didn't go through that ribbon that I didn't realize was there. I need to remove this little ribbon and board from the battery itself. I should be able to solder to here. The problem with this stuff over here is that it's not solderable. They use a spot welder to attach those batteries on, so I have to go with scraping away the solder mask. Unless it is solderable and I'm wrong, and it is, and I'm wrong. Okay, well, I've got a huge area to solder to now. That's fine with me. I've got a random lithium battery which came out of a deceased Bluetooth device. I'm not at all confident that it has enough power to start an iPhone. There we go. The original battery is 4,352 milliamp hours. The new battery is 550 milliamp hours. Will it turn on? I haven't even charged this battery, so if this just works, it's going to be amazing. Hello? What if we plug it in? What I discovered by measuring it before was that at some point during boot, it stops charging and then hands over to the battery for a little bit. If the battery can't supply enough current, that's when it dies. I'm feeling that this battery might be a slight, tiny, teeny little bit too small. What about random laptop battery that probably won't fit in the phone? It's Dell, but it's Samsung and sticky. Oh, all right. So I've been charging this battery off to the side just to see if it would do anything, and it's getting warm and slightly starting to inflate, and I can smell a bad smell. So no. This is very silly. Obviously, I can't leave it like this, so I'm just doing an external battery sort of thing. I just don't want to buy a battery unless I know it's going to fix it. We got an apple. I want more than an apple. I want the home screen or the lock screen would do. I don't even care if this is locked to someone else, because if it is, I know who it is and he can fix it. We're further than this battery. This one didn't make it to the dim apple. Yay! There we go. Ah, yes. Oh, it does say it's got no battery. I guess we'll charge the laptop battery with this. 2% charged. That'll do. I got a new battery, which seems like it might be good quality, or at least standard quality, apparently. I made this thing slightly less delicate with some masking tape. And look at this. The maximum capacity of the laptop battery is 95%. That's a healthy laptop battery. But since I actually want to use this thing properly, I'm gonna have to put the proper battery in and put it all back together. So, you know how I said you have to lay out your screws so that you don't mix them up? Well, I did, and I didn't mix them up, but there's one missing now. I forgot to say that when you've got your screws laid out nicely, don't put stuff on top of them. iPhones have a heap of batteries in the back of them, and this has got one up the top here. Going back through my footage, you can see the exact moment when this phone steals one of the screws, and now that screw is somewhere between here and my friend's house an hour away. Thankfully, I have a collection of iPhone sand, so I can find another one, but man, that's annoying. Finally, we're closing it up, and hopefully I never have to see the inside of this phone again. I haven't replaced the waterproof seal because I couldn't get one at short notice, but this phone's only for me anyway, and I've never lost a phone to water damage. Ooh, important battery message. Unable to determine if your iPhone battery is a genuine Apple part. Go to settings for more information. I think that's Apple code for we know you've put someone else's battery in this. Apple has updated the device information for this iPhone. Oh, they've got me on record now. Okay, so this kind of sucks. iPhones normally give you a health reading like I showed you with the laptop battery in there, but with the aftermarket battery, it just tells you it's not going to do those things. I'm pretty sure there is a way to reprogram these batteries to get those features back, but I don't have the programmer for it. If I'd realized this was going to happen before I put the battery in, I could have unwrapped the battery and soldered the official board into that battery. That would have given me all of this stuff back. Can I make this go away though? Or am I just going to have a badge on settings forever? Let's see what YouTube has to say about fixing this. Alright, so basically you can't fix that, and actually it's annoying me. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. Now Siri, I'm busy taking your guts apart. Alright, so I'm at this board and I've already made a horrible mistake, and I've accidentally de-spot welded one of these tabs. Please take solder. I think it is. I think I took solder. Okay, I can still work with this. Well, I just shorted out the battery a little bit. That's a bad thing to do. Let's not do that again. It's not pretty, but hopefully it goes back together and then just works, and then I can forget about it. Some very obviously unofficial insulation here, and if this doesn't work, I'm gonna cry. Well, that's step one. Look at that! It thinks it's a real battery now. So this little part here is what actually interfaces the cell with the motherboard of the iPhone. In classic Apple fashion, it's programmed with a code, so you can't just swap the battery out and expect the phone to be happy. You've got to have either a genuine battery or a programmer to copy your old battery's code to the new battery. But if you transplant this from your old battery to the new one, you can make it work. And I suspect that 95% might be left over from when I was charging the laptop battery, so that may actually come up to 100 after I charge this battery too. I knew it was the battery. It's so stupid that if the battery is completely dead, they won't replace the battery. They really don't do real diagnosis. They just change the part that the computer tells them to. And if the computer can't give an answer, they just change all of the electronics and charge you for the lot of it. So instead of nearly $900, I managed to change it with one crazy, which was $65, although I did see online I could have bought the cell by itself for $9, and that's all I actually used out of this battery. Hopefully this is better quality though, because it is actually an Australian company. Original IC chip. There was just text over the Apple. This is actually an original part. It's just that it wasn't programmed for my phone. I guess they refurbish batteries by replacing the cells and sell them as brand new. I don't have a problem with that, honestly. As long as this ribbon's in good condition, that's better than an aftermarket one. If you want at least one exclusive video, early access to all my YouTube videos, and a photo of every single video game related thing that I get, because I've been collecting for a long time and I'm always getting new stuff, then you can follow me on Floatplane for $2.50 a month. Or if you just want to see those photos and to be part of my community, you can join for $1 a month. The link's in the description. I'll see you there.